Students, welcome to the 12 forms of value activity for the week. This is a really important activity as you will learn the 12 different forms business values can take. And once you know these forms, you will be able to think more clearly about businesses, both as a marketer and as an entrepreneur. Well, let's get started and look at how to proceed in this activity. In this presentation, I'm going to be teaching you, I'm going to be showing you kind of an introduction to the learning. So what's this learning all about? I'm going to be giving you some examples, and then I'm going to show you what you should be doing in this project so that you can be really successful and nail this project. So let's start here. Introduction to learning. We know that businesses are all about adding value to the world and making money. That's how businesses go. We add value, people pay us for the value that we create. Well, there are 12 different forms of value that we can create for the world, and that's a really important thing for us to understand. And that's good for marketers and entrepreneurs. So when we, the typical one that comes to mind are products. We can, as a business person, we can invent products that create value for the world. Well, a product is a form of value, and that's one of the forms of value. So I got an example here of a product that someone invented. It's called the Life Straw. And what is awesome about this is you can drink right out of any source of water. So you can walk up to a river, a lake, and it has a filter inside of it. And when you drink that water, the water gets filtered, and what you end up drinking is clean drinking water. Wow. And then you can throw this in your pocket and be ready to go. Just start walking again. So, wow, what an amazing value that the inventor of LifeStraw is adding to the world. And that's only one form of the value of values that a person can create. And there's others that I want you to read about so you become aware of them. So, here is how I want you to proceed in this project. You are going to start by reading this short article called 12 Forms of Value. So it's right here out on Schoology, and it gives, like a half-page summary of each of the forms of value. Um, okay, so you're going to read them. It gives some cool examples in there of each of the forms of value, and then you're going to be well versed in each of the forms of value. Perfect. Your next step is you're going to complete this paper that's out online. So you're going to complete this paper, and the paper is not hard. You're not going to actually write a paper. The paper looks like this. It says 12 forms of value, and what you're going to do is for each of these forms of value, you're going to find a real world example of that form of value. So again, if it's a product, you're going to go out and find a product that that is a product, and that's a form of value. If it's a service, you're going to go out in the world and find a service. If it's an option, you're going to find an option. And so you're going to read about these. And then this is what that paper looks like here. So you can see 12 forms of value. And then I've just given you a box for this is one of the forms of value, product. So you're going to write a couple sentences about the definition and then find a real world example. So you may find I would paste in here the picture of the Life Straw, and I might write a couple sentences about what it does. And then for the above and beyond, or for the be brilliant, if you can identify who you think the target market is for this product, This would be for the Be Brilliant, which we can talk about in just a minute. And then if you scroll down, oh, here's another form of value, a service. Ooh, so now you gotta, just make a couple notes here, and then find a service out in the world. Put a picture here, write a couple sentences, and for the Be Brilliant, um, identify who you think the target market is for a shared resource, for a subscription, for resale, etc. So you can see I'm guiding you through this. Okay, so that is that. You're going to complete this paper, and I've kind of guided you through how I want you to do that. Next, you're going to pick one of your forms of value, and I've you're going to create a one slide presentation pitching that product or service or form of value to the rest of us in the class. So you're going to put on your marketing hat and you're going to pitch that form of value or that product or service to the rest of us. And now notice that I've given you a completely blank slide, and I want you to fill it with whatever you think is going to be appropriate to convince your classmates to pick your product or service or form of value or over the rest of them. So this is you putting on your pitching hat. I'm not done yet, but I started, and I'm going to use the Life Straw as mine. And you can see that I've put a picture here and I've started to format some text, etc. One thing I'd like you to try to avoid is copying any of the text on the web pages that you find. Come up with your own. So I came up with this phrase on my own: clean drinking water everywhere you are. Wow, I love that phrase, and I just came up with it on my own. And then I said ideal for hikers, backpackers, campers, recreational activities. And I got more, I'm not done, but I'm just showing you how I'm building this out. And you have the creative freedom to do that on your own. Now, if we looked at the grading rubric for this, um, we have the must-haves here. So that, you're going to check the box that you've read the 12 forms of value reading. The research, student found at least one real world example for each of the 12 forms of value. You can check that box when you're done. And then presentation, student created a Google Doc to summarize their finding, which included a brief description of each real world example and how it fits that form of value, minimum of 3 sentences per form. So that's just the form I gave you here. So boom, that's right there. And then here, students selected one company, product, service, etc., and created a one slide pitch. Boom. So that's that presentation that I gave you here that you're going to create. Okay, so what about the Be Brilliant? So remember, that's all must have. So that's going to get you about a B. How do you go for the A, the Be Brilliant? Well, for the reading, student found a new source related to the topic um, of how to add value in marketing and entrepreneurship, uh, and you read it, and then you added that to your research. And I added a section down here for you at the very bottom of this research paper. The very bottom, if you go down, I put new learning source. And I want you to paste the link in here and then a brief description. So like 4 sentences about what you learned from that learning, that new source that you found. Okay, so that's going to get you that one. And then what about your research? Student identified who the target market for whatever solution you found might be. In other words, who are the primary customers? Age, gender, location, income, job, etc. So I want you guessing. If we guessed at Who is the target market for Life Straw? There could be several target markets. It could be people who love camping. Who are people who love camping and backpacking? Do we know a little bit more about them? Could we find a little bit more? Is there an age range that we would want to target? Is there other demographics that we'd know about, etc.? So you got to just kind of brainstorm that, and then you're going to put that right here. So for each of these, you're going to put that possible target market. Not that you know it, but that it could be. So let's go on look at Schoology and see what that all looks like. So if we go to week 1 and then we go down to 12 forms of value, you're going to see we got the reading here. We got the instructions and rubric, and I'm going to want you to turn this in. We got the 12 forms of value paper. So you're going to turn this in. And then we got the 12 forms of value slide that you're going to fill out and turn in. And then here's the Dropbox right here. So really awesome, you guys. I can't wait to see the exciting creative work that you guys do. Remember on all of these to not change them, the source documents, but make a copy of the documents and then name them whatever you need to name them and save them into your folder so that you have them and you're not overwriting my documents for the class. Great, guys. Well, again, I'm really excited to see the work that you're going to do. This is going to be a really fun activity, and I look forward to seeing the forms of value that you find and all the learnings that you come up with.